It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. Wow. Did we just witness the game of the tournament last night? Because, oh my gosh, that was an insane game between England and Mexico. 3-2 at the Stadio Azteca. But wow. I mean, that might be like up there for like top 10 games all time. If you feel me. Because I feel like that game had everything, bro. 5 goals in total, a red card, weather delay. Man, the crowd was freaking insane. But yeah, I mean, England's not looking too bad. I can't lie. I haven't been too impressed recently, if I'm being honest. Like in like they're obviously the final group stage games and the knockout like round of 32 game. Like I feel like the main consensus is like they're getting the job done, but like you can only do that for so long. I feel like until you meet like a real challenge. And honestly, I think that they were met by that challenge from Mexico. Mexico played amazing that whole match. Viva, Viva Mexico. Unlucky for them to get knocked out like that. I really thought that they were gonna get one in. Towards the end there, it was like, man, last 10 minutes it was just all down at England's net. I think Dan Burn had like 50 headers, cleared out the box, bicycle kick to the face. But like England got the job done yet again. But they also, I mean, they played pretty decent. Jude, I mean, is Jude just not the best like midfielder out right now? He is incredible. I feel like England kind of won against all odds because there was a lot going into the game talking about how England, or sorry, there's a lot of talk going into the game how Mexico never loses at the Azteca and that it's their fortress and that the altitude is too crazy. Obviously, English fans and English media kind of blowing out of the water because it's really not that bad. Like, it's just some altitude. Like, they'll get through it, like they did in dramatic fashion, of course. But let's break down the game and yeah, I'll give my thoughts and opinion on how they're gonna do in the next round because they play Norway next. So that'll also be a pretty big test because Norway's kind of on fire right now. Holland obviously is a force to be reckoned with, and yeah, they're just taking teams down. And I feel like Holland kind of has a little bit of an advantage because he plays against all those English players in the Prem every weekend, so he kind of knows how they play. And like, yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting game again. I think England are still favorites to win that one, of course, but yeah, be an interesting game nonetheless. So popping over to Fop Mob, I mean, like you can see, the red card obviously was a big turning point in the game. At that point, they were up, what, 2-1, I think? So they just kind of had to, hold on, see it out. But 54th minute to defend for that long and the way they did, pretty crazy. But I mean, Anthony Gordon's run in like the 60th minute to get the penalty for Kane, that was nuts for him. He's been also like having a pretty mid tournament, keeps starting a bunch of games for some reason, and I just didn't understand why. I mean, he's like a workhorse, but other than that, I mean, he actually did well in the game before, actually, too. But, anyways, that run was insane. Gets the penalty. They get up 3-1 with the red card. But then, pretty quick after that, Jimenez gets his penalty. Again, for Kane, tough moment for him. I get that it's a pen and I get that it's a foul, but like it is tough because like what else is he supposed to do? Like he's just trying to kick the ball out, and the Mexican player puts his leg out there. which he has the right to do that too. So, anyways, I think it's the correct call, but it is kind of tough and soft. But yeah, that obviously changed the game as well. At that point, England kind of started throwing on all the defenders. John Stones came on before that. Um, Insane that he doesn't have a club right now because I think he's still world class. Like I mean, maybe not world class. Yeah. Anyways, I think he's class. But they bring in Daniel Byrne. Daniel Byrne. Why did I say that? And then Jed Spence as well for Nico O'Reilly because he was on a yellow card. So Tuchel with the low block of demons, man. That was ridiculous what they were pulling off back there. Like I said, Dan Byrne with like a million headers cleared off or cleared out like out of the 6 yard box. I remember one of them rolled all the way to the halfway line. So like I don't even know how that's possible. Looking at the ratings, Jude obviously went stupid. 2 goals in such quick fashion. I mean, 36 and 38th minute, like just those were ridiculous. He had that one little move where he's like gets cornered by the 2 Mexican players and he somehow gets out of it with a little pullback. Like he was just on fire and he was all over the place like his heat map. I mean, covered the pitch like he always does. Harry Kane, he was what first player in a while to I think like since was it 1986 or something to score a penalty but also concede a penalty in the World Cup. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, he obviously buried his penalty like he always does. Finally, just hit it with some authority. Didn't do any like crazy little stutter step, and just smashed it home. So that was great. Pickford with Pickford with Pickford with some amazing saves. Only 3, but I feel like all the punches that he also cleared out and everything. He was just all over the box, making sure that he was claiming everything, or at least making sure it was getting stopped. So he had an amazing game. I feel like it's kind of tough. Like the Mexico players don't have the best ratings, even though the momentum like totally shows that they were dominating for most of the match, other than that little spell for England. But yeah, like I said, England finally I feel like showed up. The Croatia game, obviously they did pretty decent too, right? But it kind of dropped off since then. Finally, they show up in a huge match at the Azteca. Like I said, a lot of people were counting them out. A lot of people thought Mexico were going to get it done. So, with Kwanzaa's challenge, talking about that. So, as you can see with Kwanzaa's challenge, obviously the freeze frame makes it look really bad. Luckily, that dude did not plant his foot, or he would be cooked right now. That was definitely a high ankle sprain, if not broken leg. But yeah, pretty tough. Like he gets like a little bit of the ball, but still comes through and just it was definitely a red card. So I think that was a good call from the ref. Totally fair. But we'll see if it gets appealed, huh? That's the talk, right? Like I guess we're just appealing stuff nowadays. And don't know what that means. They'll serve it later, I guess. So we'll see if he plays against Norway. I think Reece James was on the bench, so hopefully he's back and fit. Because one, that's my boy, and two, like they need him. They need him on the pitch because Quanta's usually a center back, like he's makeshift right back, so not ideal. And they really got any of the right backs with Livramento being injured as well, and they didn't call up Trent. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, I just want to touch on the game. Like freaking hell, it was a banger of a match. So with all that being said, I would say that England are a tough one to beat now. They had a crazy win. They got some momentum going for them. Harry Kane's interview at the end was hilarious. Lost his voice on there on the pitch. Jordan Henderson falling off the advertisement boards. Unlucky, mate. But overall, they're looking good. Like I said before, it may be coming home for the first time in a long time. But they still got a lot of tests ahead of them. Norway will be interesting. Holland's in great form. The rest of the team's looking good. They're all just gelling as a unit. It'll be a battle, and I'm excited for that one. Score prediction for that one. I think we're going to see extra time because I do think England has been leaking goals a little bit. Not really. They're just like making mistakes. Actually, they just make a couple mistakes every game. Those end up being goals. Like I said, the red card kind of just cooked them. That changed the whole game. I didn't think they were going to be that much out of it if it wasn't for that red card. But like I said, hopefully Reece James is back so he can play instead of Kwanzaa. But also, who knows? Maybe we'll get overturned because that's just what we're doing nowadays. Is we're just overturning stuff and changing the rules out of nowhere. And yeah, I guess that's the thing now. So shout out FIFA. Shout out them for that. But overall, the Three Lions are moving on and they're roaring. They're the roaring Lions now. So come on, England. I don't really care. But it just felt right to say that in that moment. Anyways, that is it for this one. Subscribe, please.